A special thanks to our Man School sponsor, Phone Plus. Business telephone service, custom branding, marketing, quality, security, stability, guaranteed savings. PremierPhonePlus.com.
Good morning. Good morning. You all have seen this reality TV show called Extreme Makeover by ABC. 20-some years ago, ABC News Extreme Makeover contacted me and say, Dr. Wang, we got this reality TV show. The person win the national contest. They're going to review who that is at the end of the season. But we want to fly the patient to Nashville for your eyes. I said, how'd you hear about me? They told me, Dennis Wells. Because Dennis had been the Extreme Makeover's dentist for years. And Dennis basically said, since you are flying the patient to Nashville, we got an eye doctor there too, so take care of the eye. So that's how we got to know each other. And I really admire what Dr. Wells has done in terms of just having a big heart, helping the community. And I appreciate Mark for organizing, meeting all of you today. And I want to share one thing, mainly today. I have 3 takeaways at the end, and also 1 action items. As Christians, we know that God has created us. I want to share with you all, how did I know that? How did I find out God has created me? But not only that, as Christians, sometimes we don't realize that the fact that God wants us to know that He has created us, has that knowledge. God has a purpose for that. He wants us to know that He has created us for a reason. So today I'd like to share with you what I have come to realize why God wants me to know He has created me. Why? So my title of my presentation today is The Eye Has Convinced Me There's a God. In the film Sight that Dr. Dennis Wells mentioned, I came here. Have you seen this movie, God's Not Dead? A wonderful Christian film many years ago. In that film, there's a good-looking student whose faith journey was depicted in that movie, and that was me, my story. I noticed that I used the good-looking. So I came to this country as an atheist. I was not born as a Christian. So I want to share with you how I have arrived to this point in my life and how I found out God has created us. And even more, how I found out why God wanted me to know He has created me. What is His purpose? So I'm going to, at the end, having 3 takeaways and also 1 action items for all of us, for men's group today. I have a long journey. I've come to arrive at this point. Long journey in finding God. 1966, China had a cultural revolution. Government shut down all universities and colleges of the entire country and forcefully deported to labor camp every single high school graduate. So over 10 years of cultural revolution from 1966 to 76, by shutting down all universities and colleges of entire China, they sent away to labor camp for life, 20 million young people. 1974, I was 14. I finished my 9th grade. As you see in the film Sight, that my parents always wanted me to study hard. So I was doing well as a student, junior high graduate, but I was not allowed to go to senior high. I was going to be sent away to labor camp just like 20 million others for life. As you see in the film, that Dad found out that if I could play a music instrument, a 2-string Chinese violin, I might be able to escape labor camp because government still need musicians and dancers in the cities. So I started playing the instrument, I started learning dancing to avoid being sent away to labor camp. That didn't work. So I was going to be sent away to labor camp for life, just like 20 million others. Then 1976 rolled around, Cultural Revolution ended. China reopened all of its colleges for the first time in 10 years. In the film site, you see that my parents came home and they said, you might be able to go back to school. I thought I'd never be able to hear that. I could go back to school. I thought junior high is all I'm gonna be able to have. So fortunately, I listened to my parents, worked really hard. After got into college in 1982, with $50, with a Chinese English dictionary, knowing no one in this country, could hardly speak English, I came to America. Even though I was poor, I was happy. Why? I had the freedom. See, in America today, sometimes we have taken the freedom that we had for granted. Because human nature is such that when we always have something, we do tend to take things for granted. That's human nature. Then you say, Ming, what's the evidence that we have taken the freedom that for granted in America today? The evidence is how unwilling as Americans today to work together. We're increasingly polarized and divided. We're increasingly unable to work across political aisles, racial divides, and ethnic divisions to solve the problem that we really need to solve. Gun violence, opioid crisis, environmental disaster, racial tension, education, healthcare, jobs. We're so divided because we didn't realize that. Many of us don't realize that it is a blessing to live in America with freedom and faith. We should not take for granted. And the symptom of taking for grantedness of America's freedom is how unwilling that we're trying to work together for America. But when you hear in a story of people who used to not have freedom, in comparison, we realized how blessed we are, how much we need to put our country and God ahead of everything else. So aside my story, so what I told you, Cultural Revolution, is someone who used to not have freedom and to share with you how precious freedom is in America. It's like someone who used to be blind who come here to share with you all how precious sight is. So after I finished my doctorate degree in laser physics, I decided I'm going to go to medical school because I feel that if I have the laser technology and I had studied medicine, I could be a unique laser eye surgeon. So after postdoc MIT in laser physics, I got enrolled at Harvard Medical School. In 1991, I graduated with an MD from Harvard and MIT, and I invited my parents over. So the movie site is dedicated to my parents. The reason I studied 2 doctorate degrees is I realized medicine is so technologically driven, so you have to know the medicine, you also have to know the laser physics technology. I even got to go to White House to meet then President Ronald Reagan. It's interesting, when I was studying the human eye, just like the student in the movie God's Not Dead, I got into a big trouble. My atheist worldview got into big trouble. I realized that human eye is so complicated. In fact, on the back of the eye, the retina, the photoreceptors, the rods and cones, each of us, we have 120 million. So as an embryo become a child when you're born, in the 9 months, if any one of the 120 million cells got misaligned, we will be born blind. It's just one of the 120 million cells. But most of us, when we're born, we can see. So I got into big trouble because how could 120 million cells line up so perfectly without a single cell getting out of line just by chance? That's what's atheist worldview. So the complexity of human eye really woke me up, making me realize that the atheist worldview, the evolutionary viewpoint, has a fundamental deficiency. So let me show a video about human eye.
The human eye, a marvel of biological engineering that has puzzled scientists for centuries. How could something so intricate, so perfectly designed, come into existence through mere chance and random mutations? The answer, my friends, is simple. It couldn't. Let's dive into the extraordinary complexity of the human eye. Picture this, a spherical structure, barely an inch in diameter, yet capable of distinguishing between millions of colors, adjusting to varying light conditions in an instant, and providing us with crystal clear, three-dimensional images of the world around us. Astonishing, isn't it? Now, let's break down this incredible organ. The cornea, a transparent layer at the front of the eye, bends light as it enters. Behind it, we find the iris, that colorful part of your eye, which controls how much light enters through the pupil. Then we have the lens, constantly changing shape to focus light onto the retina at the back of the eye. But here's where it gets truly mind-boggling. The retina contains over 120 million photoreceptor cells, rods and cones, that convert light into electrical signals. These signals then travel through the optic nerve to the brain, where they're processed into the images we see. All of this happens in a fraction of a second, every single second of our waking lives. Now, proponents of evolution would have you believe that this astoundingly complex system arose through a series of random genetic mutations in natural selection. They claim that over millions of years, simple light-sensitive cells gradually evolved into the sophisticated eyes we have today. But let's think about this logically. For the eye to function, every component must be present and working perfectly. What good is a partially formed eye? An eye without a cornea would be useless. An eye without a lens couldn't focus. An eye without photoreceptors couldn't detect light. The evolutionary process would need to simultaneously develop all these intricate parts and have them work together flawlessly for the eye to provide any survival advantage. The probability of this happening by chance is so astronomically low that it borders on the impossible. It's akin to throwing a pile of electronic components into the air and expecting them to fall into place as a fully functioning smartphone. Absurd, isn't it? But wait, there's more. The human eye doesn't just see, it sees with incredible precision. Our eyes can detect a single photon of light, the smallest possible unit of light. We can distinguish between 10 million different colors. We can see a candle flame from 30 miles away on a dark, clear night. Evolution expects us to believe that random mutations produce this level of precision. It's laughable. And let's not forget about the eye's ability to adapt. In bright sunlight, our pupils constrict to let in less light. In darkness, they dilate to gather more light. This happens automatically, without conscious thought. How could such a sophisticated automatic system evolve by chance? The more we learn about the eye, the more its complexity astounds us. Did you know that your eyes make tiny movements called saccades about 3 times per second? These movements prevent your visual receptors from getting too used to a steady light and going blind. Without these movements, you'd stop seeing stationary objects. How could random mutations possibly account for such a refined mechanism? Now, let's consider the eye's connection to the brain. The optic nerve carries visual information from the eye to the brain at a rate of about 10 million bits per second. That's faster than an Ethernet connection. And the brain processes this flood of information in real time, constructing a 3-dimensional representation of our environment. The idea that this intricate system of data transmission and processing could evolve by chance is, quite frankly, preposterous. But perhaps the most compelling argument against the evolution of the eye comes from its irreducible complexity. Remove any part of the eye, and the whole system fails. It's all or nothing. The eye must have come into existence as a complete, functioning unit. The alternative, that it evolved piece by piece over millions of years, defies logic and probability. So, if not evolution, then what?
Then you may say, Ming, let's be fair. Let's ask the evolutionists. And who would you ask? How about Darwin himself? And this is what Darwin said at the end of his book, The Origin of Species. He said, at the end of his own book, to suppose that the eye could have been formed by natural selection seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest possible degree. So the truth is, and I found out the same thing 200 years after him now, that eye is so complex that it is the strongest evidence to prove that God has created us. So the truth is, the eye was not randomly assembled. It was created with a purpose, and that purpose is for vision. There is a designer behind it. Psalm 139:14. I will give thanks to you because I'm awesomely and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. So now, then I do know that the eye was created by the designer with a specific purpose. So, knowing that God has created us, that's not the end point. God wants us to know that He has created us with a purpose. He wants us to do something with that knowledge that He has created us. But what is that knowledge He wants us to know? So, I've come to find out through my journey, which talk about in my autobiography book, how I eventually found out that God also has a name in Jesus Christ. Through many years of struggle and journey. And I realized that God has created us, but also He has died for our sin at the cross. But He wants us to know that He has a purpose in letting us know that. And it's going to be different. You may not be an eye doctor, you could be an architect, you could be a business person, you could be a CPA, but God is going to have specific purpose for you. Wanting you to know that He has created you. For me, as an eye doctor, He has two specific purposes I've come to realize. Number one, He wants me to help bring God's blessing to those people who need the most help, has the least ability to pay. Second purpose, He wants me to bring science and faith together. Because medicine is improving the quality of our lives through research, but He wants us to do research in the right way.
In its opening weekend, the movie God's Not Dead brought in an astounding $9.2 million, making it the 10th all-time highest box office Christian movie hit. And now, in its second straight week, it continues to smash expectations and has brought in an additional $9 million. And you may not know it, but this small budget film that's getting big national attention has a local connection. Take a look.
This semester, I propose that we refuse to waste our limited time together debating the existence of the big man in the sky. Fill in the papers I've just given you with three little words. God is dead.
I can't do what you want. I'm a Christian.
It's the story of a college student who defends God in front of his atheist professor and classmates. One of his peers he influences is a character inspired by the life of a local doctor.
The character Martin in the movie basically paralleled the life of my own. Pastor Rice actually texted me with a photo of Martin, and he said, okay, Ming, here's the guy who's going to play you. And I replied, I said, oh, at least he's better looking.
What happens in Martin's heart is something Dr. Wang remembers well.
So I grew up in China as atheist and during what they call Cultural Revolution. From 1966 to 1976, the communist government decided the best way to govern is to destroy the future of all of these young people.
His fate was a lifetime of hard labor and poverty, but a chance meeting with an American professor changed everything.
In 1982, with $50 borrowed from him, with enough money borrowed from relatives, that enough for one-way airfare, that I was dropped out National Airport, Washington, D.C. with that $50, with a Chinese English dictionary, but with a big American dream in my heart.
Ming worked hard and eventually was accepted into Harvard. There, a Christian professor took an opportunity to influence him.
He took me out for lunch, and he said, "Ming, what's across the street?" I said, "That's a car." He said, "What's the difference between car and human brain?" I said, "Human brain is a lot more complicated." He said, "Okay, can you imagine a part of random piece of metal assemble itself into a car?" I said, "No way." He said, "How about human brain?" So right and then, he opened a window in my life.
Think of Jesus as my friend. You think Jesus is God.
I saw the truth and began open myself to faith. And same thing happened to Martin that opened himself. And there's some overlap of Joshua's character with me in the book as well. In a sense, the evidence that I talk about in the book, supporting the existence of God, these evidence, the words were put into the mouth of Joshua, and he was the one who actually voiced and present this evidence.
Dr. Wang says he finally figured out that science and faith work hand in hand.
Science is about what things are, and faith is about why things are.
Now, Dr. Wang's faith in Jesus Christ inspires everything he does. Just last year, he performed a miraculous surgery on a 15-year-old orphan from Moldova, Maria.
De la 7 ani am ajuns la școală și când am ajuns cu problemele de vedere, îmi părea că o să fie totul închis, nu o să am prieteni, dar totul s-a ales prin puterea lui Dumnezeu.
The summer of 2012, my husband and I were fortunate to be able to take our family, ourselves and our children, to Moldova. And our goal was to work at a summer camp for children that the majority of them are orphans. We walk into camp and all of a sudden there's this beautiful girl sitting there on a bench all by herself. She just looked so sad, so lonely, and her head was down and nobody was around her. And so I went up to her with a translator, and I said, "Hi," I introduced myself, and she told me that her name was Maria, but that's all, I could pretty much get out of her. She wouldn't look up at me, and I said, "Maria, let me see your beautiful face. Let me see you. I want to see you." And she looked up at me. And it was then that I realized that she had something just terribly wrong with her eyesight. I could tell.
A year after eyeball 2012, that when we first heard about Maria came to the United States and walked into our Wang Vision 3D cataract and LASIK center. We sat down and I plotted out the whole side restoration surgical plan, and involved 10 different steps. Each of the steps can have two possible outcomes, success or failure. And we can only get to the next step if the previous step is perfect or is successful. I know that that's a very small possibility for humans, but God is powerful. We got it. We got it. And guess what? It happened. God created a miracle. The surgery went beautifully.
I see Maria. Yes. Oh, careful. You see Casey? Look at Casey.
Can you see me?
Where's Maria? Look at her.
So I come to realize that God wants me to help these kids and also bring science and faith together. These are two purposes that's why He wants me to know He has created me. In the film site, you see that when we brought this 5-year-old Indian orphan from India, she was intentionally blinded by her own stepmother, who poured sulfuric acid in Kajal's eyes when Kajal was sleeping one night, in an attempt to make Kajal not only orphan already, a blind orphan, 5 years old, so that she can then sing on the streets, who will then beg and get more money. So when our foundation brought her here, this is Kajal's eyes, completely scarred. There's no treatment. No treatment. And I started doing research, as you see in the film site. And I realized that an unborn child can heal without scar. But how can we do research on unborn child to figure out why the fetus can heal without scar to help our patients, but at the same time without hurting the baby? They say there's no common ground between faith and science. And I realized that God wants me to use my knowledge in medicine and faith to bring medicine and faith together. God loves us. He wants us to improve the quality of lives. And the quality of life is improved through research. I realized there's a common ground to be found. We even published a common ground Bible study to show God points the way how to find the common ground between faith and science. So through much praying, and I realized that perhaps the way to study a fetus so we can help patients restore their eyesight, because a fetus can heal without scar, is not to touch the fetus, but use the amniotic membrane surrounding a child before birth. Maybe the amniotic sac is what gives the unborn child the ability to heal without scar. So I went to hospitals, get lots of placentas donated to me by mothers after giving birth to children. The placenta is discarded anyway. I brought the placenta back in the laboratory, start doing research, and eventually invent the amniotic placenta contact lens. When we put this amniotic placenta contact lens onto injured eyes, miracle happened. The eye started behaving as if it were not born yet. It started to regenerate, healing without scar, like we all used to have before birth. And eyesight is restored in many of those patients. Then I asked myself a question. I said, did I really invent the amniotic membrane contact lens? And interestingly, I concluded no, because I did not invent the placenta. I did not invent the amniotic membrane. God did. As a scientist and a Christian, I was privileged to be given by God a precious little opportunity to catch a little glimpse of part of His original creation. So glory belongs to Him. So I decided to donate the patent. I put the patent online and went around about 50-some countries, taught over 10,000 eye doctors how to use this new technology. Today, amniotic membrane contact lens has helped patients, millions of patients worldwide, restore their eyesight. And it's a $5 billion a year industry right now. Wow. Some of my friends said, well, Ming, but you're not very smart, because I did not make any money because I donated my patent. My answer is that I don't think I'm stupid, because as a scientist and a Christian, I merely just recognize where the credit should go to. Thank you. And not only that, as an immigrant, I'm grateful to America. I'm grateful to the freedom and faith that I have found in this country. As donating the patent is my little way of paying back. As we get older, our eyes get drier. This is a patient 70-some years old. Eyes get drier and blurry, painful for many years. And we put the amniotic contact lens on her. her eyes start regenerating as if she was not born yet. And she is happy. In fact, as a human being, we have, okay, I want to show you the institute at Nashville, Tennessee, here in downtown. We have some of the best technologies. I've done lots of research, a paper in journal Nature. And I serve on US FDA ophthalmic device panel, and also we train surgeons. We performed the world's first laser artificial cornea implantation. I published 10 textbooks to try to teach surgeons from around the world how to improve their weak area, which is technology. As human beings, every one of us, doesn't matter how old you are, inescapably we are affected by these 6 common eye conditions: nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, the reading difficulty after age 45, and the cataracts, and dry eyes, which can be treated by amniotic membrane contact lens now. And all of these 6 conditions, in year 2026, we can fix them all now, including reading, using these top 4 technologies. I'm not going to go over that. If you have questions, you can take a picture and talk to me later. So basically, from age 18 to 107, we can help you fixing all these conditions. So, including the reading difficulty. So living in Music City, I have my share of star patients like Dolly Parton and others. So we have patients from all over the world to help the foundation, but also help patients with these common eye conditions. Our foundation helped kids focus on blind orphan children. And as people say, Ming, why are you dedicated for decades to do this work? And my answer is very simple. When I see a kid in darkness today, I know how they feel, because I used to be in darkness myself. As a teenager in China during Cultural Revolution, I could not see any future myself. So I know how they feel in living in darkness. During Cultural Revolution, I had to learn dancing to escape labor camp. Now it's a hobby. I created a concept called the eyeball, raise money to help people see. And even the Chinese violin that I have to play during Cultural Revolution to escape labor camp has become a hobby as well. I use it, the Chinese violin that I learned during Cultural Revolution, to connect East and West. Finally, I want to touch upon a topic that I briefly alluded to earlier. We are so polarized. As a Christian, God wants us to be common ground seekers. God wants us to demonstrate as Christians, we can love each other despite the difference. We can work together despite the differences. So we created a nonprofit organization called the Common Ground Network to study how to find the common ground. We realized the common ground seeking steps as TPS: see the common ground, trading places, empathy, pay the price, and seek common ground. Who inspired us to formulate the common ground seeking steps is none other than Jesus Christ himself. You see, Christ saw the common ground with us as human beings. He traded places with us by becoming one of us. That's the ultimate trading places, to feel our pain, to suffer what we suffer. He demonstrated the empathy towards people in the lowest rung of society, women by the well. Nobody wants to talk to her. Christ did. He paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin at the cross. Finally, he put it into action. He saw the common ground with human beings. So I want to show you a few examples. We can actually find the common ground. It depends on who we are. And Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business Group, that's an organization we find the common ground among Latino Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans. And John Michner and Kip Dawson in the audience today are board members, and Hunter Davis. And so another example is that, oh, by the way, you're all welcome to the Tennessee Immigrant Minority Chamber meeting, September 10th. Another example is 917 Society. Our common ground there is the Constitution. And another example, common ground, is my church. We have 70 countries represented at Bethel, and our common ground there is love for Christ. Another example is Living Sand Ministry. I've been part of the organization since the beginning, and our common ground there is applying the scripture Monday through Friday. American Bible Project, our common ground there is to put the Bible back into school. And with Star in Canada, our common ground there is to encourage, equip conservative women the ability to find common ground with others. So you see, we can find common ground in the divided country. I give this talk, by the way, if you're interested, your church, or anything, I would love to come to share what I talked today. On the little table, I have my little booklet. It's about the story. This is a gift for you on your chair. You can take it with you. It's based on this book, the NG Studios film Sight is Made. And also, I have a little booklet. It's a business pearl, 77 pearls, how to do things more efficiently. It's on your chair. You can take it with you. It's a present. If you want to donate something, if you want to, you don't have to, and all the money goes to the foundation. And when you leave, we give a little stack of the Sight free movie link you can give to friends. So in conclusion, I want to just show you the 2 minutes trailer of the movie.
I'm going to help you see again.
You said it was impossible.
Ah, there he is, the good doctor.
You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
Not with that picture.
Very funny.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, Kajan.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things happened.
So we came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school, but you coming from China, don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor. This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you.
Stop it. You need to just let go.
I just don't want Maria to end up like Kajan.
We can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose.
I will be praying for you.
Kajal is teaching me that there's more to life than what you see. We have to keep going.
Thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing this free link of the movie with friends. More people watch this film through this free link. More will know about our foundation's work in helping blind orphan children, so more of these kids could be helped. In summary, I realized that God has created me. God has died for our sin at the cross. But He wants us to have this knowledge is with a purpose. Depending on what you do, He's going to have your specific God-inspired purpose. For me, He wants me to help these kids and help bring science and faith together. If you want an interesting book, we have some books there, all proceed goes to the foundation, including Common Ground Bible Study, a 5-week Sunday school study book. And 3 takeaways. One is God has created us. Second, He has died for our sin at the cross, resurrection. The third takeaway is that He wants us to know these is with a purpose, because He wants to inspire you, to give you God-inspired the purpose. He wants us to know that He has created us. It's not just knowing that. He has a purpose wanting us to know, because He wants us, each of us, to develop a God-inspired the purpose. So, one action plan. Knowing these, what is your God-inspired purpose beyond what you normally do? God bless you all. Thank you.
A special thanks to our Man School sponsor, Phone Plus. Business telephone service, custom branding, marketing, quality, security, stability, guaranteed savings. PremierPhonePlus.com